Folks are back. This is Steve Sanson, Frank, Friends of Veterans in Politics. We have Walter Jones III, Nevada Assembly District number 6 candidate. But before we get to Mr. Jones, Frank, you have any rants?
Yeah. Get involved. Stop complaining. If you're not involved in the process, you're not allowed to complain about the results. Plain and simple. Go vote. Vote early. Vote in person. And know who you're voting for and what policies they represent, how those policies are going to affect you. And all you got to do is look around the nation. Where you see specific policies, you see specific outcomes. Look for solution-based candidates. That's it.
Well, I don't have any rants. Let's go right over to Mr. Walter Jones III. Mr. Jones, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for inviting me. And once again, thank you guys for trusting and believing in me to endorse me.
Absolutely. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Walter Jones III, better known in the community as Coach Boo.
Why do they call you that?
That's been a nickname for so long. Everybody just knew me they just called me Boo.
Coach Boo.
Coach Boo. I coach basketball, AAU basketball.
Like Boo-hoo?
B-O-O.
Like Boo.
Boo.
You're my Boo.
No, Coach Boo.
Not you're my Boo.
No,
just Boo.
Just Boo.
Like Boo, like Casper. Boo.
Coach Boo. Can I get in the game?
Oh, put me in the game, coach.
There you go.
All right. Basketball.
Yes, sir.
You kind of tall. How tall are you?
6'6".
Oh, shit. 6'6". How much you weigh?
256.
You want to do some bodyguard work?
Nah.
Okay.
Some people ain't about that life, Steve.
Okay, Coach Boo, do some bodyguard
I
work.
love my freedom.
You get them the contacts, and I'll teach them how to use a weapon.
But, I was born and raised here in Las Vegas in 89030, and I ended up making my home in 89106. I've been in this community for 60 years. I raised 2 kids. I have a daughter that's 36 that works for the school district. My son is 25. He works for the school district as a teacher at Cheyenne. He played basketball over in Armenia for 1 year, and he decided to give it up, and he graduated cum laude from Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. I was proud parents. I have 6 siblings, 1 brother, 4 sisters. I make 6. My mother and father's no longer here with us, but they were. My mom moved here from Texas. My dad moved here from Louisiana. My grandparents is from Texas on my mom's side, and on my dad's side, his parents is from Louisiana. When I played ball at Valley High School, 2 state championships, captain of the team for 2 years in a row, honorable mention All-American, went off to play ball at Southwest College in California. After playing over there, I was offered a scholarship at Prairie A&M University in Texas, where I studied business administration and social work. And returning home, I was a substitute teacher at Rancho High School for...
when did you teach there?
I was a substitute teacher there in 86, 85.
Okay. A few years before I got there.
Yeah, under Dr. Brown, which was my principal at Valley High School. And to make a long story short, I ended up working for the county in protective service. I left there in 91 and was blessed to go into my own business. And I've been in that since 91 to present.
Okay.
I own a construction company here in Las Vegas. We do government work, private sector, and it's been a blessing. I have 14 employees.
What type of construction?
I do tenant improvements, remodels, new construction, burnouts, flood jobs, insurance jobs.
Oh, like restoration?
Mm-hmm.
Could you redo a whole room?
Yes.
Could you turn a garage into a man cave?
Well, I can turn it into a man cave, but it depends on, because you have so many restrictions in communities in your neighborhood where when you sign that dotted line to purchase your house, it tells you what you cannot do with your garage.
Huh. More freedoms being taken every time you sign on that line.
I don't think I have that.
No, he's talking about HOAs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not only HOAs, they also have it in certain communities, when you buy into that community. That's one thing the contractor puts in place because
of property.
Oh, well, yeah, you can turn it into, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm on a quarter of acre over in the historical West Las Vegas Bonanza Village.
Okay. Oh, nice. What's the name of your construction company?
Vision Builders.
Do you do remodel bathrooms too?
Yes.
Steve, he does all of it. Restoration.
We do everything.
He does all of it. He turned your house into some old jalopy to something real nice.
We do everything.
That's what he does.
I've been in this business since '09, but I started with my dad with Sarah Construction Company. He was a superintendent.
Oh, wow.
And a labor foreman.
Okay.
And I never wanted to get into construction because I started working construction at 14 with my dad. And every summer I would work with him. And then once I started playing, I got more interest into basketball.
Right.
So then I was on the all-star team, so I would travel, but every summer I would work a month or two with my dad. And then I just never envisioned of being in my own business or being in construction.
What's your relationship with Harvey Munford?
Harvey Munford was my neighbor.
Okay.
I actually, it's so funny you asked me that because Harvey Munford, I don't know what it is, but he bugged me for years. You need to run. You need to run. You need to run. I'm like,
and now you do it when he passed?
You know what? I was actually at his house. I was a pallbearer.
The guardian angel in the next election.
Well, I was actually one of his pallbearers.
Oh, wow.
And as he was laying there in his bed, because they brought him from the hospital, he didn't want to stay at hospice. He wanted to be at home.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
And so as I would go by there, because he literally lives come out of Bonanza Village and go down Harvey Munford Boulevard.
He's got his own street.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would go over there and as he was laying there in the bed, and first thing he wanted to talk to me about is basketball. Mm-hmm. Then he would ask me, well, are you going to run? And so I was kind of hesitant because I was trying to figure out what the previous State Assembly 6 was going to do, which was Chandra Armstrong. Mm-hmm. She was undecided on what she was going to do. But yeah, Mr. Munford.
She's running for commission.
She's running for city councilman.
Oh, is it city council?
Mm-hmm. Yep. But Mr. Munford was a tremendous role model to me and the community. As a kid, he used to work at one of the rec centers in the summer. And I could have sworn I thought he was the tallest man in the world. Every time I seen him. But as I started growing, but he done a lot for our community.
So sorry, Frank. There's one more way to get up. So you born and raised here, right?
Yes, sir.
64 years.
No, I was born in 64, but I've been in 60 years. Yeah.
So why now? Why now you decided to run?
Well, I ran for city councilman for that short stint.
Right.
And then it was 12 or 13 of us, which if I would have knew that, I wouldn't have never even threw my name in a race. Then I ran for school board because I felt like our kids was not getting the proper education between the Hispanics and us. We was the first ones to get expelled or get placed over at a school where they figure that you don't fit in at regular schools. Right. So they put them at behavior schools. I felt that we weren't getting the funding for our teachers because when I looked it up nationally, the national average for a teacher's starting salary was $62,000. This was 4 years ago. And the school district was starting them off at $35,000 and $40,000. So right now you're already behind $20,000. So then you wonder why we're ranked 48th. Well, we're not reinvesting in our future. What do we expect?
True.
So the women were strong that year in 2020. When Pamela Harris announced that she was going to be vice president with Biden, and the women was real strong. And so I'm the type of person, because I was on the bond oversight committee for 4 years. Okay. And I had a lot of concerns, where the money was going, what wasn't coming into the community. And now I really felt it was on my heart, even seeing him laying there in the bed as he was dealing with what he was dealing with. And I just felt it was time for me to do something to make a difference.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So you mentioned you got kids that are in the school now. You ran for school board. I'm actually currently running for school board.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. So we have a policy 6161 that allows librarians to keep pornographic and disgusting books inside schools. Books that state things like, I hate you, you're a white lover, hey Z, suck this, how does that feel? And it's talking about a girl with a strap on. This is all pornographic stuff. But the librarian has the ability to keep these books in there. And they were not taking them out regardless of how many parents write to them. You have a group like Moms for Liberty that says, hey, take this book out. We just want this one out because it's saying these nasty things. Then you got groups like GAG, Gays Against Groomers, that don't want anything associated with these books because people are saying it's gay, education. Or you got a book called This Book is Gay. And then you also got Policy 5138, which allows schools to transition children. Where do you stand on these things and how they're affecting the education of our youth and how we have declined all the way down to 48th. We're also 50th in safety now.
Well, and that's a great question. I think the problem we have right now is we need to get back to educating the kids. That's the most important part. Books like that shouldn't even be in a library or anywhere else. We have to understand we're dealing with things. Kids nowadays, they're emotional. Then they'll turn around and you have online, you have the phones. All that stuff needs to be taken away and get back to the hard knocks of teaching the kid of education. And if we don't teach our kids education, one thing we have to understand, these kids is our future. Mm-hmm. These are the ones that's going to make the decisions for us in the next 20 to 30 years if God say if God say the same if we here. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of things that we need to take away from these school districts, from the libraries, from the teachers. I was reading an article a while back where in Tennessee, they're giving the teacher the right to bear a gun in the classroom.
Yep.
So now, are you a teacher or are you a police officer? Or are you a security guard? Or you're a parole officer? This is not prison. So if you look at it for years, we've been having pipelines to prison with our kids. Mm-hmm. So we have to get back to teaching our kids the proper education. We have to.
So you don't like all this indoctrination of all this extra sexual curricular activity and the way they're trying to change the way kids do math and how they're overdiagnosing young black men with ADHD and, like you said, sending them to behavioral schools. Being somebody who went to a behavioral school for defending myself, I didn't start the fight, I ended it. But they still kicked me out and sent me to a behavioral school. I'm not saying it did or didn't help, but I know kids that were there, that were overdiagnosed, that shouldn't have been there because they didn't start anything. And like you said, it's caused this decline. How are some ways that you would attack this via policy or let the constituents know to vote for you? And you will get these books out of there and you will get back to basic education, teaching our kids literacy, math, comprehensive, science, things like that. Things that you said they're going to guide us in the next 20 years into the future.
Well, we got to understand, too, a lot of things, to answer your question, a lot of things start at home. Mm-hmm. That's the number one thing. Number two thing is parents do not turn out to school board meetings like they should. Parents have to be involved. I could say when I was in school, and probably the same thing when you guys was in school, parents was involved. You had the parents that, I was more afraid of my mom coming to the school if I'd done something wrong than I was of a teacher.
Well, what I'm getting from teachers now is when the mom does come to the school, it's, no, my son never said that. No, my son didn't do that. You're a liar. You're wrong. And then, you have this STAR program and this restorative justice to where if these teachers report things on minority students, then the teachers can get in trouble.
Well, and that's the thing. We have to get back to where the basics of education, if you look around now, the average house right now is a single parent home.
Mm-hmm. Well, single mother home.
Single mother home. Yeah. Single mother and single fathers. Or the grandparents are raising the kids. Mm-hmm. So now you have to go back and ask yourself, number one, the biggest mistake we made here in Clark County is when we started opening up charter schools. Charter school is a private charter schools. Those are private schools, but being supported by us as taxpayers.
Then wouldn't a voucher work better in that situation to allow parents to just choose whatever?
I think the best thing to work better if we spend more money on education, concentrate on education, early childhood. We need to start having these kids in school at 3 years old. Start a early childhood at 3 years old. Because if you look at it right now, we're behind in math, reading, English, and writing.
And science.
And science. So how can we get a corporation, big corporation to move here? How can we get not Amazon as a labor force, but how can you get companies to move here, a tech company? How can you get them to move here when we're 49th in education, when we're not taking education serious? We're too busy concentrating on catering to the casinos, and it's taken away from what the kids need to learn. Yeah, everybody's not going to go to college. Everybody's not going to be a doctor. Everybody's not going to be a lawyer. But let's start teaching them a trade at an early age.
Well, what about having one of my ideas is to have a comprehensive home economics program to where in 6th grade, you technically buy a house and we work you through it. You go through wood shop to learn how to work on a little bit of something, maybe learn how to change an outlet, maybe know how to turn off your water when your hot water heater blows. Because you know from restoring houses, number one thing that insurance claims is that hot water heater going. And people don't even know where their shutoff valve is.
One of the biggest things I was pushing for when I ran for school board was to give a kid an aptitude test when he's transitioned from the 7th to the 8th grade. Find out where his skill level is. When you find out what his skill level is, if he want to go off to college, if he want to join the military, if he want to take a trade. Now, in the 9th grade, let's start getting him working on those trades that he loved doing.
So you're talking about basically a customized path per student.
Yes.
That would probably be more cost effective anyways.
So then I looked at, by the time when this kid get in the 10th grade, he's doing both. He's doing classwork and he's training for whatever trade he wants to get into. Because what I do right now, our labor force is low. Trade low, very low. So now you take that same kid, by the time he's a senior, getting ready to graduate, he's coming into a trade as an apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
So now he's making good money as an apprentice.
With no college debt?
But with none. I remember when I was in school, thank God for my mother. I was a class clown. I always had to crack jokes. Regardless what the teacher said, I'm going to crack a joke. So now the first thing the teacher thinks is, oh, something's wrong with him.
Yep.
We need to put him in a class where they go in there and color and listen to Jack and Jill all day.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it was funny. So they're like, oh, we want to put you in this class. So theoretically, I had a couple buddies that was in there. So I'm like, well, these was the kids, at school. These was the kids that wait around the lunchroom till everybody else go to class. And their class was right by the lunchroom. So yep. I'm trying to be the clown. I'm the star basketball player, but trying to be a clown. My mom came to that school. This happened at Valley High School. My mom came up there. She said, I guarantee you, if you don't get my son out of here, you will have a lawsuit on your hands. Well, Miss Jones, nope, I guarantee you, if you don't get him out of here. Because the first thing they do, if I can't keep up with you in math, I got a problem. If I can't keep up with him in reading, I got a problem. It's not that I can't keep up. That's probably something you practice at home is math. He probably practiced reading. But I probably write and spell better than both of you guys.
I would put it past you.
But
my spelling's horrible.
But they consider that as an issue.
Yep.
And that's the things that we need to get back to the basics. As a state assembly, my job would be to try to get the other ones, to try to get the minority to know when the minority wins, we need to concentrate on education. We have to. We have education we need to concentrate on. We have veterans that's displaced because they don't have places to live. We have seniors that's struggling, that's retired and can't afford to live in Las Vegas no more. So these are the things that we need to work on. If I don't fight for that, then I'm wasting my voters' time. Because it's important that we have to sit back and look at What's more important? Whatever bills we pass, it's going to affect Nevada. It will affect Nevada, and that's what people don't understand. When you're taking money from this group and taking money from this group, you're not protecting your constituents. You're protecting them. Right now, when we got an average house in Las Vegas is running $450,000, and the average pay is
it ain't even worth $280,000. You've seen the way they're built. They're not worth $280,000.
The average pay here is less than $20,000 or less. Your mortgage is supposed to be 30% of your income. So how can you afford to stay in a $450,000 house when everybody talk about affordable housing? No. We need to make sure people can afford a house. That's the thing we need to work on. The bills that I want to get passed, God say the same. If majority we can pull together, because one thing I always wanted to say when I get up there, I want to get us all in a room and realize we represent Nevada. That's who we represent. We don't represent special interests. We represent Nevada. The same way when he went over and fought for our country, he fought for us.
All of us.
All of us. He didn't go over there and fight for his hometown. He fought for the country. He fought for the USA.
So you want to bring more unity to the country and get away from, honestly, I mean, from what I've seen in the last 10 years in Nevada is identity politics and race politics, and you want to move away from that. We have to. You want to get to solution-based politics for everybody.
If you look around right now, Nevada has changed so much. Well, let me put it this way. Nevada is big acreage-wise, but it still ran like Mayberry. I'm just being honest. It still ran like a small town mentality. And until we get out of that small town mentality, if we're going to grow, we have to grow together. It doesn't matter where you live. It still affects Nevada. You can go behind a gated community, you still got a power bill. You still got high insurance. We're all paying the same for gas. I always ask anybody, when have you ever seen the governor or Senator Reid when he was living to pumping gas? It don't affect them because we're paying for it. But we have to get out of this situation where we need other revenues here other than depending on the casinos and mining. Mining pay the lowest taxes in Nevada and make more money than casinos.
Well, why don't we open up more sports complex? They just made flag football an Olympic sport. Mike Vick did that $1 million tournament where he gave the winning team $1 million, so you can imagine how much they made.
But why open up a sports complex, but who you think going to pay for it? We as taxpayers. It's just like right now. Which one of us can go in here right now and afford to go watch the Raiders play? But we pay for that stadium, and we're still paying for it. So we're making billionaires trillionaires with our tax dollars. So every time a team come to your state, you're paying for that team.
So would you do something with the contracts where if you want to be here, you want to make this Las Vegas money, you build it, you pay for it, we'll get your merchandise and we'll make your money back for you.
And that's what we should do. Because if he go open up a business, guarantee you the city ain't gonna give him no money.
Nah.
You go open up a business, I go open up a business, he open up a business, they're not gonna give us the money. They're not even gonna give us the land. So we have to start being, we got to start being more active in knowing what's going on. And we're not. Just like now, this governor vetoed more bills than any governor we ever had. But he passed 2 bills. Juneteenth in the Oakland A's Stadium.
Yeah.
When we're dealing with veterans that's displaced, mental health, education, homes.
Well, you said your area is over by the historic West Side, right? So we got a lot of rundown churches over there. You know that.
We have 145 churches in 89106 and 8930, less than a 5-mile radius. Yeah. And that's ridiculous.
Yeah. So why not maybe repurpose some of those for, I don't know, early education, mental health, and, maybe even childhood development, so that you could have the women in that area working with kids from that area, so parents know, hey, my neighbor's kind of watching my kid and educating them at this place. Why couldn't we do something like that?
Well, because it's not ran down churches. Some of these churches are storefronts. They're in shopping centers. You have some nice churches over there. But the problem that we have the biggest displacement of homeless in 89106, which is right there on Las Vegas Boulevard in Owens, Las Vegas Boulevard in Washington, Las Vegas Boulevard in Bonanza, and Main Street. Yep. So now you have to look at a lot of things that's being done is strategically set up where if this area goes down, I can come over and get this area cheaper. But then we don't have shelters on the other side of town.
They got a lot of liquor stores and pawn shops right there too.
Liquor stores, pawn shops, 24-hour tire shops. I even made it a point to where I'm like, okay, you got two big investments you're going to make in your life. A home and your kids. So why are we letting individuals move in the neighborhood and turn them into shops, chop shops, office? When you purchase a resident, it's called a residential, not a business, not an office. Now, if you got enough property that is big enough in this zone for livestock and horses, fine, build your house in the back, build your guest house, build your office. But keep it in the back, not in the front. Then when you have regular homes, regular residential homes that got cars parked all in the front, and it's only taking the value down, it's not taking it up. So what do? You say we got code enforcement, but how can one guy cover over what, 100-mile radius to make sure people park their cars in the back? It used to be a time if a car was not registered and it's set in your yard, it got towed away. If it was on your grass, it got towed away. But I think we as individuals have gotten to the point to where we have to hold, regardless who it is, we have to start holding people accountable.
Well, then who do we hold accountable that's got us to this point so far, and what do you plan to do to change that?
Well, the biggest change that I made was to run for State Assembly District 6. That's the number one change. The next change is to make sure that every municipality that falls under the state, that I try to reach out and touch them and talk to them to let them know what changes that needs to be made. But I need to make sure everybody else is on that. We might not be on the same page, but at least we can be in the same book.
Well, that's the thing I'm seeing with a lot of these politicians, like those books I just told you about. I'm pretty sure you didn't know they existed in the school library. But there's other politicians that know about this. And you know what their stance is? No, it's okay. It's just education. It's sex education.
Because they don't want to lose voters. They don't want to lose voters. The thing we got to understand and realize is the only way we're going to make a change is doing what we're doing now. Run to make a change. We can sit back and complain all day. But what good is a complaint if we're not trying to make a change?
Steve, any questions?
No, I'm just listening over there.
So what are like some of the bills you would have ready to, let's say, ready and in the chamber, ready to go when you win this?
Well, first of all, we got to realize I'm just one assembly. There's 42 of us, and we got 24 senates. So the majority has to win to even get it to the Senate. Now, once you get it to the Senate, it has to go to the governor. So one of my biggest bills I really want to push for is displacement of mental health, which we got a lot of veterans that's dealing with that. So everybody think you give them medication that's going to cure them. No, a lot of times just sit down and talk to them. Why you want to give them free medication when you need to talk to them? Make sure we open up places where they can go in there and talk to them. When you talk to someone and show them that you care about them, you get a better response than me giving you medication. Second of all, we need to make sure our seniors got a cap on utilities. Not only our seniors, but retirees. When you got to decide if should I pay on my insurance, or should I just sell my car? Should I buy a little groceries? Should I get some medication? Because here it is, we know the hottest months is June and July, sometimes August. When they can't afford to pay those that power bill, we need to put a cap on this. Because one thing we got to start understanding, if God say the same, we all going to be old. We're going to get there one day. But we need to put a cap on it. We need to make sure we're getting our kids in education at an early childhood, in the 3rd grade. Start getting them in school. Well, we also need to make sure we have more parent participation. I go down here and with another young lady, I argue with the boards, I fight with the boards, but guess what? My kids is not in school. I might see 6 or 7 parents sitting out there. The rest of it is staff for the school district. We had a packed house one time, and guess why that was? Because they wanted to take prayer out of school. You had preachers coming in from over in 89106 on the west side. Okay, but where you at when they suspending these kids? Where are you at when they try to put these kids in behavior schools? Where are you at with the same thing you're talking about, these books that's in these schools? But we went to a meeting again. The parents didn't like what the principal was doing over at Clark High School. Guess what happened to him? Come Monday morning, he was out of there. Parents' participation. Our voice says a lot, it carries a lot. But if we don't show up, they figure we don't care. And that's the same thing as you get on the school board. You want parents' participation. I said every school board, every trustee should go visit your schools, not to take pictures, but encourage these kids to let them know that you're here for them. Encourage the staff to let them know you're behind them. They don't have that support. Right now, you got staff that's out of work for the next 2.5 months. Now they're trying to figure out, well, what are we going to do? I don't have a job for the next 2.5 months. We got to find ways to put money back into the district. We got to find ways to get these substitutes, teachers, get them insurance. When I was a substitute teacher, it was $100 a day. $100 a day, no kids. I ain't have no kids. So you know the taxes was eating me up. Then by the time I get a phone call to find out what school I'm going to, gas was eating me up. I had to buy lunch. By the end of that day, I averaged it out. I was making $35 a day. So we have to make sure that we get involved with the school system. We get involved with your city councilman, county commissioner, your governor, your mayor. We have to. Too many times we just sit back and let them tell us what they're going to do. And if we don't do that, we're going to be in a worse position than what we're in now.
I don't know if you get any worse than 50th, but we might find a way.
We can climb up that ladder. Mr. Mumford tried to get a bill passed, and that was one of the things I talked about too. If we can ever convince the state assembly, the Senate, because if enough of us pass the bill, you can go past the governor. If we can ever get a lottery system here and give 25 or 35% of that money back to the school to hire better teachers and pay more money, now we can get out of that 49th.
So you're talking about bringing like an actual lottery here?
We need a lottery here because right now the casino controls everything. I looked it up. California lottery took in over $1 trillion. It paid California over $300 and some billion because they get a percentage off every dollar that comes in. Same in Arizona. If you go back and look at most states that's population is like Las Vegas, look at what they're paying their teachers. Right now, we pay more money to incarcerate somebody than we do to teach them. We're paying, I think it's either between $8 to $9 a student per student. And it's costing us $30-some thousand to incarcerate somebody.
Mr. Jones, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate you guys.
I'm just back here listening to you, and it's I like it. I like it. Maybe I should do more of that instead of trying to interject. But looking at camera and tell folks why they should go to the voting booth and vote for you come November, because you don't have a primary.
No primary.
You're a nonpartisan candidate.
Yes.
And you know that I arrive at this one question though: how many nonpartisan candidates are actually in the legislature right now?
Actually, it's none.
Exactly.
It's
so
none.
how do you think that you're gonna? You think that you're gonna be the first one, the only one? How do you think that you're gonna play on both of those political parties to get elected?
I would be the first one. And at the same time, they have to understand that we're here to work together. Let's get rid of the Democrats, the Republicans. We're here to work together because at the end of the day, we represent Nevada. Whatever decisions we make, it falls back on Nevada. So I wish it was a way where this party affiliation it's almost similar to like, in so many words, it's like you feel you're better than me, I'm worse than you are. When it has to boil down to you're representing your constituents. You're representing Nevada. He's representing kids. I'm representing the state of Nevada to make sure that the kids are taken care of, to make sure that our veterans are taken care of, make sure our seniors are taken care of. We have to understand, we have to take our personalities out of it and do what's right. Because I tell anybody, your name means more than a title. And we have to understand that.
Tell the folks why they should vote for you and a point of contact, please.
Once again, I'm Walter Jones III, better known as Coach Boo. I will be on the ballot in November. I would be your best choice for a state assembly because I know Nevada, I'm from Nevada, and I'm fighting for Nevada. I'm fighting for my seniors, I'm fighting for my veterans, I'm fighting for the children of the next generation. You need a leader that's going to come out here, and it's not to take pictures, but it's to represent Nevada. My website is Vote Walter Jones. Actually, my website is ESAD, Nevada State Assembly District 6, WJ at iCloud.com. My website is VoteWalterJones.com. I would appreciate you guys' support. And once again, I appreciate the veterans for giving me this opportunity to present myself to you guys. Other than looking at a sign, you see who I really am and what I mean for. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Walter. Really appreciate that. Frank, thank you. Mm-hmm. Folks, that's Walter Jones III, Nevada Assembly candidate for District Number 6. Mr. Jones is endorsed by veterans and, well, Mr. Jones is endorsed by all 4 veteran group that was doing the endorsement process. So we encourage everybody to, in District 6, to vote for Walter Jones and make him the first nonpartisan candidate up in Carson City, because I think we need a lot of that going on as well. This is Steve Sanson and Frank Friends of Veterans in Politics. Until next time.